On August 6, 1945, at 8:15 in the morning, the sky turned white. People in the city of Hiroshima looked up to see an American B-29 bomber plane flying directly over them. Moments before, they had been going about their daily business. But now that plane would change everything. In a flash, it unleashed a power that annihilated an entire city, killing more than 200,000 people instantly. It was the first atomic bomb used in history. Its code name was Little Boy, the United States. Military report from the time tells the story of how this weapon of mass destruction was deployed. On August, at approximately 11:02 p.m., the pilots sighted the target, Hiroshima. At 11:03 p.m., the bombardier made a manual release of the atomic bomb. At 11:06 p.m., the bomb exploded over Hiroshima. For many years after, survivors would have nightmares about that day. They were known as hibakusha, which literally means those who were affected by the atomic bomb. In the years since, thousands have died from cancers related to the radiation exposure they received that day. The event is seared into the memories of all Japanese people. Even those who weren't born at the time taught about it in school. So what actually happened that day? How did one plane and one bomb manage to kill so many people? To answer that question, we have to go back to the beginning of World War II. 10 years of fighting had already taken place. When the United States entered the war in December 1941 following the attack on Pearl Harbor, by 1945 Germany had already surrendered, but Japan was still fighting hard. And as the war dragged on, more and more young Japanese men were drafted into the army, leaving women to take over jobs in factories. By 1945, the US knew it was close to winning the war. Japan was proving to be a stubborn enemy. American forces had high casualties trying to capture the island of Okinawa near mainland Japan. With the war in Europe over, the US wanted to end the war with Japan quickly and decisively. So it developed the atomic bomb. And once ready, it began to plan the first mission. The military report tells the story. Following the primary objective of destroying the military establishment of the enemy at Hiroshima, secondary objectives were the complete destruction of the city of Hiroshima and demonstration to the Japanese people of the destructive power of the weapon. On August 6, 1945, the Enola Gay took off from Tinian Island with 6 crew members and 1 passenger. Their mission? Deliver the first ever atomic bomb to its target. The pilot flew the plane directly over the center of Hiroshima. When the bomb was released, the crew watched as it descended toward its target. It detonated about 19 miles above the ground. What happened next can only be described as utter devastation. The heat was so intense, it vaporized the outer clothing of people in the area, burning their shadows into the walls and buildings around them. A survivor recalled, "I was not far from the epicenter. I saw a bright flash, heard a roar like thunder, and felt a strong blast like a typhoon. I found that my entire body was scorched as if burnt in a furnace. People nearby had also been burned, and some were completely naked. There was nothing left of most buildings in the city, entirely wiped out. The bombing instantly killed between 80 and 90,000 people. Many others died in the weeks and months afterwards from burns and radiation poisoning. In total, more than 200,000 people lost their lives, making it one of the deadliest attacks in human history." When the US military report from the time was written, there was still fighting between the two countries. So the mission was deemed a success. However, the world has changed a lot in the last 81 years. Today, the bombing of Hiroshima is remembered as a tragedy. A survivor of the bombing told the BBC, "I want to tell the young people about the foolishness of war and the atomic bomb, so that such tragedies are never repeated. We must work toward a world where there are no more weapons of mass destruction. If we don't, then our future is very dark indeed."